We've had the PlayStation 5 in the home for a number of weeks now and have been looking at the different games you can enjoy in your family. There are some really unique experiences on this new PlayStation, and some of them are excellent to play together. Like the first game we're looking at here, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. As you can see, the boys are having fun cooperating to work through these levels. You're collecting various items and solving puzzles and jumping and fighting enemies and sometimes each other as well. And there's that kind of rough and tumble feel to this platforming. That makes it a great fit for different ages and abilities. And in our family, we've enjoyed jumping on together, and you can play with up to 4 players if you have 4 controllers, and working through this story. It's really good at prompting you to tell you what to do next. But also, it's just great fun to have a bit of a romp and a bit of an escape, and it's very light-hearted family fun. Sometimes this is to work through a level together, really cooperating, taking on the enemies, but sometimes it's just good fun just to whack the other player about, and you can pick up each other and throw off ledges. And as you can see, it's a little bit of escapism, which I think is something we all need at the moment. But as well as the kind of madcap fun, this is also a really good platforming game. You have to pay attention to the jumps, you have to really get to learn how different enemies work, how they move, how they attack and how to defend upon them. And also you have to work together to circumvent some of those challenges. And as you go, you are collecting various items that you can then spend and use between levels to customise your character so that your Sackboy looks completely different to everyone else's. Moving on from this, I wanted to look at a game which on the surface looks quite similar but plays completely differently. Astro's Playroom is a real marvel on the PlayStation 5. It's an experience made possible by some of the features of this new controller. Now, some of it is that touchpad in the middle that you can move your finger on and trigger elements in the game. Of course you have the motion controls as well, but the real game changer here are these triggers. When you come across an element of the game where you need to hold something down, grab something, pull back the string on a bow, the triggers on the controller actually feel harder to pull, and they'll suddenly then release and you kind of will be shooting your arrow. This is kind of hard to explain, but really makes the immersion of this platform game second to none. And this is the game which we've come back to again and again on PlayStation 5. I think it is because it uses that controller in such unusual ways. As you can see, tilting it, aiming, pulling that trigger, hitting that, feeling the tension in the trigger, and then releasing just at that sweet spot. It's an experience that we haven't had anywhere else, and it's just lovely to have this immersive game with such a lovely character. So you work through these levels, you're sort of running and jumping, but also solving puzzles and collecting items, and it's all themed around the history of PlayStation. So as you're doing this, we've had fun spotting consoles that we used to have, and also I've enjoyed telling the kids about the consoles I had before they were around, and showing them the game characters that I spent my time with when I was their age. So the last game we've been testing on PlayStation 5 is Bugsnax. Now this is quite a different experience. It's much more narrative led. You are dropped into this island as a reporter and you're trying to work out the mystery of what's happening on this mysterious island location with these funny small creatures which you soon realise are all made out of food. As you catch them, you can then feed them to characters, and those characters take on the properties and look like the food that they're eating. This sounds a bit weird, but as you progress into the story, it really is engaging, and we've wanted to come back to this again and again to find out what is the mystery of this island of Bugsnax. Of course, it makes use of that PlayStation 5 controller, which is really nice, and visually it looks great. But mostly here, it's just a great game with a really engaging and unusual premise. And as you can see, here we're going to feed some of these snacks to our character here, who has a strawberry leg. And we're going to get a carrot arm. And it's just a really fun way of interacting and playing together.
Here we go, test it so you can hit each other off. Yeah,
so there you go, that's a look at some great games for the family on PlayStation 5. Of course, there's many more coming out this year, and we'll be back with a video that looks on those in detail. But I hope this has given you a good taste of what this next generation of gaming looks like on PlayStation for the family.
Oh no! I will crush the thing.